Okay, so now we're going to talk about how do we know if these probabilities or these events are independent or not independent. And we're going to look at the probabilities to do this. So what you're going to learn here is know what is meant by independent events and know how to determine if two events are independent. So independent events are when you have two events where their outcomes are not affected by each other. Two events where outcomes are not affected by each other. So the probability of one will not be affected by the probability of the other. Okay, I just talked about that. So if two events are independent, then you're going to say the probability of the first event times the probability of the second event should equal the probability of the first event and the second event happening. That's true. That's a true statement. If this statement is not true, then that means those events are not independent. They are actually dependent upon each other. So let's test this theory out and see. So it says determine if the events are independent and explain. If these two events are independent, then I'm going to take the probability of A and multiply it by the probability of B, and it should equal the probability of A and B. Okay, so let's do it. 0.45 times 0.30, does it equal 0.75? If these events are independent, which means the probability of one does not affect the probability of the other, then we're good. So, and from what we just saw, that is a no-go. These two events, this is at 0.14, does not equal 0.75. So the conclusion I say is therefore these events, these events are not independent. That means the probability of one is actually affected by the probability of the other one. Okay? So you go ahead and try these. Pause the video, and then I got another one for you. It says, given that the events are independent, find the probability of the missing event. Well, if I know that my formula tells me that the probability of A times the probability of the second event should equal the probability of the two events put together, or the intersection of the two events. Well, if that is true, then I can also say that if I take this, if I take the probability of the second event should equal to the probability of these two events together over the probability of this event. So in other words, all you have to do is divide the probability of them both happening divided by 0.55, and that will tell you what the probability of the first event is. So I'm going to say 0.37375 divided by 0.55 equals 0.25. So the probability of event B is equal to 0.25. And you can check this by multiplying these two, and you should get back that. Alright, you guys go ahead and try the rest of these and the rest that are on your sheet, and try this one out too. And I will see you guys on the next time. Bye.